we are now moving to the main session of the day. Women in women I have been exposed to some women have been exposed to male dominant industries, just such as mining, construction, and it is quite difficult to work in such an environment as a woman, and there are a lot of challenges, there are a lot of obstacles, as well as opportunity that comes with it. So we have Cecilia, who is one of the women who have been exposed to such conditions, and she have 7 years of experience in different mining environments, and she's going to present to us how she managed to go through all those challenges and all those obstacles. Cecilia, are you there?
Yes, Teach. Thank you very much.
Okay, I'm giving this opportunity to you. Welcome to our session.
Thank you. Greetings, everyone.
Hello, how are you?
Good morning. How are you, ma'am?
All right. So thank you very much for giving me the opportunity to present on a very interesting topic. I think for me, this topic is relatable because I'm a woman and I'm also a Sheikh practitioner. So to start with, I think I would just like to commend the women who are in SHE, the women who have participated in our, what I would like to call our PDCA cycle, the PDCA cycle for our profession. That is the planning, the doing, the checking, the acting, from development of policies, innovation, that is safety or environmental engineering. Women who've been involved in consultancy, women who've been involved in training, and those that are actually on the ground doing the enforcement. They are doing a really great job. So I did a little bit of a comparative analysis of the characteristics of a Sheikh practitioner and those of a woman. And I think you can see that there are similarities between a Sheikh practitioner and a woman. A Sheikh practitioner is generally someone who is engaged with the responsibility of taking care of people. That is to say, preventing accidents to make sure that there is no loss of life. And for you to be able to demonstrate that responsibility, you have to have genuine concern for people. And I think we can all agree that it is the same for any woman in your life. I think we know our mothers, they're protective people, they're compassionate, they're caregivers, and some would like to say they're actually the life givers because they're the ones who give birth to children. So there's a similarity there, which means that this role of genuinely caring for people and their safety comes naturally for women. It's not forced. And I think a Sheikh practitioner is also someone who is able to plan for their work. If you're familiar with our ISO standards, if you look at clause 6, it talks about planning. So a Sheikh practitioner plans their work, they plan their processes, they make sure that the organization also plans for changes, it plans for projects. Planning is very important because you anticipate risks. And when you anticipate risks, you're in a better position to come up with ways to mitigate those risks before you are penalized by authorities. You are facing litigation, or you're facing complaints from the community, or you're dealing with a fatality at your workplace. So again, if you look at the women in our lives, even when they are off-site, when they're not at work, they're usually responsible for putting order in the house, for planning when the next meal is going to be, where the next drop of water is going to come from. So seeing that there's a similarity, I'm just saying, I think women make great Sheikh practitioners because these traits just come naturally to them. They're not really going to be forced to do that. It's when competence meets passion. They have a talent for it and they have a passion for looking after people and taking care taking care of people. Right, so when you look at the role of women in safety, health, and environment, it's not very different from what men have done. It's only that sometimes women do not get much credit for it, but they've also played an active role in the professional cycle that I was talking about, from policy making up to enforcement level. They've taken an active role in preventing accidents. They are safety engineers also in the fraternity of safety. And these are women. We have got an example that I've put up there of Miss Connolly, who actually invented the first fire escape. And her work actually led to the review of building standards in the United States, such that all buildings that came after her work were required to have accommodation for fire escape routes and for other emergency preparedness and response designs. So you've got other women who actually invented the car windshield wipers. They've made great strides in safety engineering. I could mention but a few of women who are doing great work in this field. Then we also have women who are doing a lot of work in developing standards. I think we can all appreciate that standardization is the way to go in this 21st century. It creates a strong basis for us, especially in environment and safety. It creates a strong basis for us to develop regulations, national regulations, which can help us enforce these issues of safety at the workplace. I think when Teach was presenting on vaccination, someone was talking about how it can be difficult to convince management to let people go for vaccination. When there are standards, it's very easy, because then the standards can be turned into legislation, and then there won't be any need for you to convince, because usually people just respect what legislation requires. So we've got women who have been involved in the creation of standards. If you look at the technical committees for ISO, the presidential for ISO, there are women participating there, influencing policy change, influencing the creation of standards in various sectors, including EHS. I think we've got our own Dr. Eve Gadzikwa in Zimbabwe. She's the president of the Standards Association of Zimbabwe, and I think most of us know the work that she has done in this field. So many organizations have been certified with SAZ and have seen a big change in their production, in their safety and environmental performance. So we've got women who are actually doing well in this field. Then we also have women doing well in the field of environmental management, not just tree huggers, but people who are bringing actual change. The pioneers of environmentalism, such as Russell Carson. I think some of us might have read or just heard about the book that she wrote called The Silent Spring, where she was talking about the negative impacts of pesticides on the environment. And this led to changes in how we treat pesticides, looking at their ecotoxicity. And I think we all know that when the DDT was banned because of her work. Then currently, I think I've been talking about historical achievements, but currently we also have women who are working tirelessly to bring working solutions in actual public health issues. You've got scientists, Catalina Carico. She's the leading scientist who made the groundwork for the vaccine that the previous speaker was talking about. She's the one who laid the groundwork for development of the COVID-19 vaccine. And you also have Dr. Yakab, who is the WHO Deputy Director. She's done a lot of work in fighting infectious diseases. So these are some of the women that have achieved a lot in the fraternity of SHE. Right, coming to Zimbabwe, because I'm in Zimbabwe. So my presentation may be a little bit biased on Zimbabwean women because I'm quite familiar with their work. Those are the faces of she. I might have left some, but those are the faces of the women who are doing great work in different fraternities, mining, construction, laboratory work. They are helping organizations turn around their production. They're helping organizations comply with legal and other requirements through their work. I think I know quite a few individuals from those pictures who are doing well, who are climbing up the Sheikh ladder. So I think I just want to appreciate all these women and learning from them as well, because when we network, we also get to learn from each of their experiences in this field of safety. Then I think next I want to talk about the groundbreakers in SHE. I think we can't talk about women in SHE without mentioning the names of the likes of Betty Dube. Most of us are aware or know her in person. Miss Dube has been in the Sheikh industry, I think, for the past 25 years. She has been international. She has worked locally with Anglo. And she's the one who led the team that was working on the transition of Unki mine from a project phase to a full mining phase. People may just see the production side of it, but for a project like that to actually succeed and transition into a full mining phase, there are a lot of risks that come that can actually cripple that project. So she's the one who was implementing all those fancy Anglo standards that we know, which actually help safeguard employees' health and safety. Then we also have Miss Theodora Rondozai. I think she's my personal favorite because she's my role model. Miss Rondozai started with SARS and has worked for over 18 years in systems development and training. She's now the director for BESA Zimbabwe. She has, I think, worked with over 20 companies, has audited over 100 companies in the country and outside the country. She's really good at what she does. And when she talks, you can hear the command in her voice that she really understands the standard. It's a Bible, it's a constitution. She's doing a lot of work into turning some businesses into businesses because they would have implemented the standards that she preaches. Then I think I've talked about Dr. Eve Gadzikwa. She's also a mentor for most women who are taking the route of being Sheikh practitioners. She's also the president of the African Standardization Association. So women can also become presidents. Then we've got others, Rumbidzai Kamkazingeni at Shamba Mine, who's now the Sheikh manager, Juliana Kundiwona at Lafarge. All these women are taking top positions in the ladder for safety, health, and environment. Then I think I'll talk about my experience now because I'm right at the bottom right there, but I would also want to climb up that ladder. So my experience in mining, because I think for the past 7 years, that is where I've gained my experience. I've also managed to go through that professional PDCA cycle that I was talking about, having worked with SAZ, having worked with Chamber of Mines and Association for Mine Managers, trying to review the current legislation that we have. I think I've also gained that experience. Auditing is quite interesting as well for me because you get to benchmark what you are doing as an individual, how you are faring with other professionals, even women and men in the fraternity of SHE, and then you also get to benchmark the performance of your own organization to others. Then I've taken part in quite a number of projects for certification, developing systems, sometimes just from scratch, then for, I think, the first mine, how mine, some of them were refused to align to the new standards. This was quite an interesting experience for me because you get to learn about a lot of things, including the business process chain itself. I think this is one of the most interesting things about being a ESH practitioner. You get to understand the business process value chain from start to finish, up until we are discussing how we're going to dispose of the waste, from the time we discuss about what raw materials we need for a certain process or what consumables we need. And I think this makes us different from other professionals because as key practitioners, you actually get to have a general appreciation of each and every process. If I was to be compared to someone maybe who is in metallurgy, a metallurgist will probably know their process in detail, but they may not be advantaged to know what happens in security or what happens in HR or what happens in engineering. They may know maybe engineering, but they may not know what happens in other departments. And as a ESH practitioner, you've got that advantage because you're going to work with all those departments, helping them develop procedures, helping them identify their risks. So you become sort of a generalist and you understand these processes. And I think as women, when we get to these positions where you are interacting with every department, this is the opportunity for you to rise. I believe that women can rise, ESH practitioners can rise up the ladder, because when you get an appreciation of all these processes, you can be able to also manage them because you understand these processes. I think for general managers, it might not be necessary for you to be like a technical expert in that area, but you need to understand these processes, and we are at an advantage because we do understand. So this is what really excites me about being a ESH practitioner. And I've seen some of my mentors, some of the people that actually trained me rise to become mine managers, general managers and directors. So it's possible for us to actually climb up that ladder. Then I think there I'd mentioned some of the projects that I've also worked on. Slimestem construction, the 28 level loading station at Mine. It was an operations revamp exercise. And currently at the CDC, there was a commissioning of the 450 ton per hour plant. So these projects, like I was saying, they help you grow because you learn new things when you're exposed to some of these big projects. You become a mini engineer, you become a mini civil engineer because you've got an appreciation of how these processes work and the risks associated and what it means to the business bottom line. So basically that is my experience in the fraternity of She, but it doesn't come easy. There are challenges associated with working at a mine, working in a male-dominated environment, and you are a woman. So I think when I was talking about the women in She, you could see that there are quite a number of women who are working in the fraternity of She now. The number has risen, but it's still underrepresented because of a variety of reasons. Some of it's because of gender discrimination, but not so much these days. The gender discrimination is just stemming from the social constructs that have been made by the society. Historically, we know that women were the ones who were supposed to stay at home and take care of the children and do domestic work. No offense to mothers, I'm a mother myself, and I love doing those household duties, but I also love my job. I'm curious about my job, and I would want to see my daughter growing in a place which is safe, growing in a place which is environmentally friendly. So I love doing both. So historically, you would see that is where they were just confined to, whilst the men went out to actually do the actual work in courts. That is, the hunting and gathering would be done by men. So that kind of discriminatory way of viewing men and women was just coming from societal constructs, because men and women are different. They are different sexually. Their biology is different. So because of that, the society has given women a certain role and men a certain role. It's still there. It still exists in this modern day age, but it's slowly fading out. There are also other religions in other countries where women are not expected to do work which is perceived to be difficult or complex. They are required to do work which is maybe is easy and not complex. But in my experience, having worked for a mine, you find that in most exit interviews, the reasons that women give when they are now resigning or joining new ventures is because it's not really because of gender discrimination. There are other reasons, such as these industries where EHS is applied are male dominated. So that male dominance, it sort of makes women become uncomfortable in such an area. Some women may not be comfortable being in a boardroom full of men. I think I've taken quite a few sittings in the boardroom with probably 10 men, and I'm the only woman. And you sometimes hear the chairperson addressing to all of us as, gentlemen, let's do this, gentlemen, let's do this. It's only now that they kind of remember or recognize that we've got a woman in the house, and there'll be a lady and gentlemen, a lady and gentlemen, let's do this. So that can be quite intimidating for some women, so they may decide not to venture into that kind of environment. And in most cases, the women would want to work in she and in these male-dominated environments, but they may be forced by the dictates of the society or their spouses, because these male-dominated environments sometimes they are remote, if not in most cases. For example, mines, usually they are sited outside town, so you'll be far from your family. And as far as the society is concerned, it's the woman's duty to take care of the children. So you can be labeled, you are not a good woman just because you're not taking care of your children. You are going remotely, they would say in vernacular. So you find that women sometimes then would prefer not to take up those jobs. And sometimes it's because of the work environment design. I remember when I was working underground, you would go underground with the jackhammer operators, and if for some reason there is a failure of the skip, the shaft skip that you use to transport from one level to another, you would have to use chain ladders to move from one level to another. And as a woman, maybe the physique to go up those chain ladders and run as those guys do maybe a little bit too much for someone, so they may decide to just shy away from such jobs. Then you've got issues to do with pregnancy, taking maternity leave. When you're pregnant, you can't go underground. When you're pregnant, you can't go into the processing plant where there are x-rays because of medical reasons. So you find that in some organizations, they consider all those risks, and when they are doing their recruitment, they may decide to go with the male candidates because they would not give them problems in courts when the time for maternity comes, because male candidates don't go for maternity leave. They don't need maternity leave. They might need it, but they don't go. So you find that organizations might just want to recruit male candidates. Then there are also issues to do with mentorship. When you enter into an environment which is male dominated, your seniors or your boss is most likely to be male, and male male practitioners may feel the need to identify and bring in closer other male professionals you are at the same level with, because they can easily identify with them. So when opportunities come in such positions, they may just decide to promote the male candidates because they identify easily with them. And I think if you have worked in a mine, you know that the mine is a bulletin of its own. People talk about a lot of things. So your boss might also feel like, if I bring this girl closer, people will start talking about me, saying I'm having inappropriate relationships with this lady. So I might not want to just get close to her and mentor her and shape her and also groom her to prepare her for growth opportunities. So those are some of the problems you can actually face when you are working in these male-dominated environments, or when you're working in SHE. The issues of sexual harassment, phobia, it exists. It's just that I know it may be a little bit awkward to say. Some of us are used to it. People can make certain remarks, and because you know you're in a male-dominated environment, you can think it's very normal. But for some people, it's not normal. I'll give an example. If you're going to give a training to a group of maybe artisans who are male in that environment, you get the highest attendance records because you are a woman. And it's not because they are really interested in learning about the safety skills that you want to impart. It's because they just enjoy seeing a woman giving them training. And they'll come and tell you that, we really enjoyed your training. And they will never do that to a male candidate. But these are some of the opportunities that we should actually take and make sure that your delivery actually impresses them such that they take up exactly what you're saying. Then I think the last challenge that I would like to share, it's common for both male and female practitioners, but it's more difficult for a female practitioner because you are battling with two issues now. This is the issue of the imposter syndrome. When you are working in these technical expert fields, for example, construction or mining, you find that even the grading of positions is different. You might all be managers, but the people who are directly making decisions on the process or on the bottom line of the business. If it's mining, we're talking about maybe the mining engineers and the mining managers and the engineering managers. They usually get better grades and better packages and better salaries because they are technical people. And you as a SHEC person, you are viewed as a non-essential person. You are probably, some may say you're anti-productive because what you're doing is not really directly involved. They view it as if it's not directly involved in the production line. So you'll be trying to compete with people who already think less of you. And when you're in these meetings and they start talking this verbatim, which is technical, you feel like an imposter. You feel, what am I doing here? I've presented my incidents. I've presented the issue of vaccination and testing. And now this verbatim that is being talked about here, I don't understand. So that can be a challenge, but there's always a way to tackle it. Like I said earlier on, my favorite part of being a SHEC practitioner is get involved in the development of the procedures, get involved in identification of risk, get a general appreciation, so that when they start talking about these things, you also have a background knowledge of what they're talking about. You won't feel like an imposter. You won't feel like you are not worthy being there. So these are some of the challenges that one might face in this industry. What can be done to promote women in SHE? I think people might have other ways of promoting women in SHE, but establishment of societies. We've got societies for different professions. We can also have those ones for promoting women in SHE. I think Australia, USA, and Canada, they've got those societies. They do events, conferences, and workshops on how women can actually grow in this field. Then we also have ways where we can improve on our recruitment policies. Some organizations actually employ someone called a diversification officer, who is an HR person. This can help in terms of gender diversification, because like I said, EHS is normally applied. These days, yes, you can find EHS being applied in banks, in schools, in hospitals, but it's mostly applied in areas where it's dominated by the males. So for us to attract women in SHE, we also need to balance the expertise balance in terms of men and women in these industries. So if we diversify on gender, if we improve our recruitment policies and make sure that they also include gender diversification, it can actually improve or promote women in SHE. Then maybe from the grassroots, promoting the girl child to take up a career in SHE, to take up courses or major in social science and environmental sciences. This can actually guide, because this is this is one of the reasons that probably we see now these environments being dominated by males, because from the beginning, some decades ago, the girl child was told not to venture into these majors, which actually lead for you to be a safety engineer or an environmentalist, because they were told that this is too complicated, it's for boys. You maybe do this other subject that they perceive to be easy. So promoting STEM education for the girl child can also help us promote women in SHE. Then we can also adapt the work environment for it to suit women, helping the woman bring in the family that they dearly love closer, so that when they're working, their mind is fully focused on work, because they know the welfare of their families is all right. I think at our workplace, we've done quite a number of things to promote that. It may have been disturbed by COVID-19 pandemic right now, but we've put up a lactation camp for women to bring in their children, and they can always take their breaks, making sure that our policies also give women enough time after maternity. I think you can, after the 3 months, the legal 3 months or 98 days that you take for maternity leave, you get an additional 28 days for just spending time with your baby and bonding. So these are some of the issues that we can look at when we're adapting our workplaces for women. Even issues of PPE. If you come to our mind, you also find that women have got their special type of PPE, which actually is quite fitting for them, so that we recognize that we've got women who also want to be protected from hazards, but they need fitting PPE. So there are a couple of things an organization can identify. You can do a needs analysis to see what women in your organization might term, these are requisites for me to work safely here and not to leave, so that you can put those controls in place and retain that kind of talent in your organization. So I think, ladies and gentlemen, this is what I had to share with you for this presentation. I think I'm done. Are there any questions or contributions? Yes, I see Mr. Chinenyanga, your hand is up.
Hello, everybody. I just need to add up a comment, additional talk over what you have said in terms of imposter syndrome. I think it is the slide number 3 from end.
Okay.
Yes, as health and safety practitioners, especially women, we do experience this imposter syndrome, especially to women, where you are not really involved, because sometimes they consider yourself like she doesn't know much about what we are talking about. For
Yes.
instance, the construction project of a dam, you are really directly involved in every process that need to be done during that construction project. But when engineers are having their own meetings, they might exclude you because they feel like she doesn't know what exactly we are going to talk about. But
Yes.
I would like to encourage you, and using a bit of my experience, though I'm a man, I've been involved in construction projects since from my tender age. Actually, when I said tender age, I said from my graduate level. I've seen that, no, we don't involve the SHE practitioner in this because he doesn't know about what we're going to talk about. But here it is what I'm going to propose and encourage everybody to do as a SHE practitioner. Each and every time when you're involved in a project, try to get a certificate, try to get upgrade your level of education regarding the project that you are involved to. When I was in construction projects, I upgraded myself as a health and safety practitioner. I moved on to acquire a certificate in project management, such that whenever they speak any word about project management, I would have a say and I would convert everything that they say into health and safety so that they could understand that whatever process, whatever position that they're going to take in project management, they could go to see their health and safety as an important thing to be implemented in their projects. And also, I would regard every health and safety practitioner as a software. I would encourage you to have affinity to be upgradable. Do not say when you are in a field of construction, you stay there. You say, I'm a health and safety practitioner in construction. But have a look, like what you say, Cecilia, when you are a health and safety practitioner, you are involved in every section. You enter every door, in kitchens, in offices, out there where the production happens. So try to find where you can fit, where you can fit and upgrade yourself so that you can actually live with it and upgrade so that whenever they are talking about anything, you could have something to say and actually divert it to health and safety. This is my conclusion.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Mr. Chinyanga, for that contribution. Ms. Maparura. Ms. Maparura, your hand is up. Okay, I think, is there anyone else with the... Yes, Mr. Kajgamadari.
Hello?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right.
Yes, how are you?
I'm all right, and you, Isabel. Thanks for such an insightful presentation. I think most of the things that you have mentioned, I've observed them. I don't work in the mining industry, but I do a lot of certification audits in mines. So I can relate to some of the things that you mentioned. But I also wanted to share with the audience, different experience in a different kind of setup. I mostly work in the Middle East in the oil and gas fields. And I have a lot of, my network is quite big in Zimbabwe, in South Africa. I have a lot of women who always ask me, are there no opportunities there? Can we not come, like SHE professionals or practitioners? And when you tell them that the setup here is totally different from what we have in Africa, sometimes people think that you want to block them. But the reality is that in Africa, at least the opportunities are there, then you have to fight the challenges. But here, you hardly find HSC or SHE practitioners in the field because we work in remote areas in the deserts. The only women that you see will probably be working in head office environments. And I'm not only talking about SHE, even in other fields, in other professions. It's very difficult to find women coming to work in these remote areas. Recently, they have started, like if you go to clinics, you will find that they have female nurses now. and some, process engineers, but they are mostly working from, the offices and not actually out in the field. And the other thing also, because of the arrangements of accommodation, where probably you have an accommodation camp of 5,000, 6,000, 10,000 people, and it's all male dominated. So I think already it's scaring enough for a woman to come and stay in such an environment. And then there are also cultural issues where probably the family will not even listen to you if you said you wanted to think about going to work in the interior areas or the remote areas. So yeah, so that's another, I thought I should just share, different experiences from different types, from different areas of the world. So I think, yeah, while at least we have challenges in Africa, but it looks like we are probably a step ahead. So way forward is to, to fight those challenges as women groups. Obviously, you also need assistance from men, because we need to manage their perceptions. So you can't do it alone. You have to involve also, you have to involve them. Even if you decide to have conferences, I would propose that you invite them so that they see the things differently, because their perception probably is what needs to be managed. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kajamadare, for that. Yeah, it's true. Women usually are confined to the works in clerical work, administrative work, and are excluded from being on the ground, actually doing the dirty work in courts. Thank you so much. Sia Makaye, your hand is up.
Good morning and thank you. First, I would like to acknowledge a well-presented set of slides, very comprehensive. Thank you, Cecilia. And to concur with Tendai's last comment, with work in Qatar, I found that it perhaps contradicts or is different from your comment with regards to the influence of religion for SHE practitioners. When working there, I found that due to the, what's the right word? Islamic religion, there are very particular rules about how to interact and when to interact with females who are not a part of your family or relatives. So because of that, there's less female SHE practitioners in the Middle East and particularly in Qatar, where I was. There were a few, but very, very, very difficult for them to break that ceiling. But besides that, all else that you have said, I can support you that it is similar in South Africa, the challenges and the future for female SHE practitioners. Perhaps I would like you to comment on the issue of facilities, particularly provided either in construction sites or mining environments for female practitioners. That starts from, post-maternity, one may need to nurse or feed a baby. So in South Africa, we promote the provision of facilities to express, milk, so that the lady can take the milk home later on and not be pressurized with milk in her body. So facilities is very important for female personnel post maternity, and then the other area is employee assistance programs, particularly mental health and wellness. What can you comment on those two, health and wellness, as well as facilities for females post maternity?
Okay, thank you, Makai. I think I mentioned in my presentation, although most organizations might not venture much, especially in Zimbabwe, maybe because of the dollar value of renovations of buildings, to ensure that our toilets have restroom. It is a legal requirement, by the way, in Zimbabwe for female toilets to have a restroom where they can, which is separate, a restroom which is separate from a toilet, but they can use that as a facility to decongest their bodies of the milk, as you're saying. But it is a legal requirement. They should have these restrooms to help accommodate women. As I was saying, at our workplace, we have developed what we're calling lactation camps. They're not only for going to breastfeed your baby, but you'll be staying with your baby there, and your helper, or if your spouse can come, they can come and stay there, so that at least your mind is not thinking about the baby that you left or that you weaned at 3 months because you have to come to work. So this is the major facility that I can talk about that has been put. Then in terms of policy, they've reviewed, I think I've spoken about the number of days that you can take to bond with your baby other than coming to work. You can take those 28 days and spend them at home, or you may take them as hourly breaks so that you get to spend time with the baby. Maybe you can take an hour during lunchtime, or you can take 30 minutes in the morning, then 30 minutes later, or you can knock off 1 hour earlier and go to the lactation camp and take care of the baby. That is concerning issues of maternity care. Then in terms of employee health and wellness, there's a wellness program that is in place for it's risk-based, because it looks at the different type of people that we have. It's also linked to the medical surveillance program. So the clinic just does a needs analysis for the women. What kind of health issues would we want to tackle in terms of women, especially issues to do with maternity, fertility issues, cervical issues, mental health issues, post-natal depression is quite a real thing for women who have just given birth. So that can affect them even at work, and people won't understand what is going on. And it can be, again, a source of discrimination from your male colleagues, because they will just label you, this person, ever since she gave birth, she's not working anymore, she's not concentrating, we don't know what is happening. This is the problem with employing women. But you might have a serious condition of postnatal depression. So we've got a clinic, and I think most organizations do have, they might have a satellite clinic, or have peer educators or counselors who actually carry these counseling sessions with women and identify health risks that are associated with women, merging them with the medical surveillance program results. Then actions can be taken from there. I don't know if there's anyone probably would like to comment on what other organizations are doing in this regard. There's Isaac Mutema.
Thank you, Cecilia. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I just want to add my comment mostly on the previous speaker, and just to encourage the girl child to join the profession. Yeah, it's true that in mostly Muslim-dominated countries, it's very difficult to break through to work there, because I've been working in those countries for quite a while. But what I just want to encourage ladies now to join this is, as male, we need to share mostly the information. We need also to share the links, and so that the ladies can apply also. Once you get also the link, please share with others so that they can apply. like I said before, I'm working in the United Nations in Somalia. My boss, in line with occupational health and safety, is a lady from Uganda. Another one from another department, again, she's a lady from Kenya. But before, it was not like that. So in UN now, it's like a mandatory thing that they make sure that all departments are gender balance. So I think, I don't know if I never practiced in Zimbabwe since I qualified to be occupational health and safety, but I think it's one of the things whereby you guys, you need to push it, because everything you need to push it through the Ministry of Gender Balance and Ministry of Health. And I believe everything is possible. If you need something, you get it. So that's my contribution. All the males who are here, let's share the information, let's share the website, and make sure that they apply and they get the job. It is possible they can get the job everywhere they need. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mutema. Makai, I see your hand is up.
It's not, Madam. I just indicated that I'm happy with the responses. Thank you.
Okay, all right. Thank you very much. If there's no other contribution, Teach.
Yes. Okay. Thank you, Cecilia, for that insightful presentation. Yeah, it is quite challenging in Zimbabwe, in Africa, for women to join these professions. But I guess a presentation from Cecilia, she has indicated the challenges and how she has managed to overcome them to get where she is right now. So it is now a challenge to every woman out there, be it you are in this profession or other professions. You should get a mentorship and other things to help you climb the ladder in your profession, just like Cecilia had said. And one other thing that I would like to indicate from this slide that Cecilia presented, she said we should establish societies for women. So every chief practitioner who is on this session, it's now a challenge. You need to come up together and establish a society for women in Chi, so that you can promote and motivate others who are just joining the career and who might want to join the career. Thank you, Cecilia, for that presentation. Thank you for everything.
Thank you,
I
Teach.
guess, okay. So I think this concludes the session Cecilia presented. I don't know if there is anyone who might say there is Helen Jiku. She wanted to say something before Cecilia go. Yes, Helen, you can come up.
Hi, everyone.
Hi, how are you? Hello, Helen. Hello. I guess she's facing some issues.
Yeah, Teach, I think I saw a Blessing Lukwara. Her hand was up when you were giving your remarks.
Okay, Blessing Lukwara, you can come up, please.
Good day, everyone.
Hi,
I'm well, thank you. Firstly, I'd like to acknowledge Cecilia Mashingaidze's presentation, and my addition to everything, I think in summary, is how people relate to safety, health, and environmental overall, which is the involvement of SHE practitioners or SHE professionals in project management phases. I am working in South Africa, and currently they introduced the SACP-CMP, which is the South African Council for the Project in Construction Management Professions. It was formed, or Occupational Health and Safety was involved in the council after they had actually investigated a lot of incidents, and they realized the absence of SHE practitioners or the involvement of SHE professionals in all the construction stages. So it's normally 6 stages, which is your project initiation and briefing, concept and feasibility, design development. I think I heard somebody earlier on mentioning that sometimes engineers do not see the need for SHE practitioners to be involved, in meetings and stuff, of which it actually is now a requirement in South Africa that SHE professionals are involved on all the project planning phases, which is what I've just mentioned now. Stage 3, which is the design development. And then when it goes to tender documentation, previously you would find that, let's say if it's a project is going out to tender, there's no health and safety specification, there are no environmental feasibility studies, or, it's only then done at a later stage of which already a lot of damage would have been done. So I'm not quite familiar with how things work in Zimbabwe, though I'd love to also know. But I think a council similar to the SACP-CMP would be helpful in order to prioritize health and safety in all the project planning phases.
Thank you, Blessing, for that. I guess everyone is hearing it, but we'll plan for such a council. I don't know if we have any in Zimbabwe yet. Yes, I see there's another one, Malapile, with a hand up. You can come
yes,
yes.
Thank you. Yes, for me, my contribution is mostly around that, you've started something here with this conference here, and it shouldn't stop here, just to make sure that within the industry, we continue to gather all the females through some of the people, what they've said, through mentorships. So far in South Africa, initially I am from the construction side of SHE, but now I'm in manufacturing. Like there's a lot of congestion within that space, the construction space. And some of the people right now are not getting jobs in that space because everyone thinks that's the only space there. So for my inputs in this session is that, we should look at elsewhere. There is manufacturing, there is oil and gas industries, which people and companies require the skills set that we have as SHE professionals. So let's not only look at one area. Also, there is mining in South Africa, but within the SHE practitioner worldwide, there is a bit of a shortage. Hence, I think Tendai said in the space in the Middle East, there's quite deficiency in terms of professionals. So let's ensure that we share wherever there's space so that space can be filled. Although, culturally as well, there's still some imbalances worldwide where females are not yet recognized as people who should be working. But for those of us that are in those spaces, let's start the conversation. Let's start fertilizing the ground so that the females and the minds of those who are in leadership in those areas can start looking at all the professions the same, and allowing females to also enter and come through to germinate the areas. So that's my 2 cents. Thanks.
Thank you, Malapile, for that. I guess it was also indicated by Tinei and Cecilia that as a she practitioner, one should not confine see yourself to a certain sector or a certain industry. You should ensure that you get experience from different industries just to see the challenges and how they can be overcome. I would like to thank you for that, Malapile. Is there anyone else who might want to contribute or share something? Okay. Thank you.
Yes, there's Sister Mumba from Wange who was asking in the chat on where she can go, become a she officer. Maybe our guest speaker can assist on that one.
Okay, let me check. You said who should be
Sister Mumba. She's asking where she can go to learn and become a she officer.
okay. If she's from Zimbabwe, there are a lot of institutions that are offering degrees and diplomas in that field. The ones I know are it's NAS. We have NAS, National University of Zimbabwe, Science and Technology, and also at Chinoi University. They also offer a degree in this field, and as well as at Bindura and other polytechs, they offer certificates and diplomas in the field. I guess we can communicate further on that, and we can also help her. I know there are a lot of women or people who might want to know about this. We are free to chat with us. We can help you attain certificates in this field. Thank you. Helen, you wanted to say something earlier, and I guess you had challenges. I don't know if you can come up now. Helen Wanjiku. Okay, I guess she's not available. Okay, thank you, Cecilia. Thank you for the presentation. I guess everyone has learned and has gained experience on what women should do and what is men also should do to help women achieve their goals in this field and any other fields. This is applicable for any other profession. It's not confined to she. It's also applicable to any other profession. So let's take this up, guys, and apply and implement it so that we can improve the operations of our industries. Thank you for that. Now moving on and concluding our day. I would like to highlight that ESH, like I indicated earlier, has been running under Vanilla Safety as our sponsor. But now that we have our own resources, we've managed to come up with new social media. We are now operating with our own resources. So we have a new social media. Would encourage you to follow, to subscribe and like us, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. And also for those that might want to be our guest presenters in the upcoming sessions, you can chat with us on the WhatsApp numbers on the screen, as well as email us on that email address. And for more and any other information that you may need, you may visit our page. It's also highlighted on the screen. And we have another announcement that we would like to make. In the month of July, we managed to publish our magazine under the theme safety during shutdowns and maintenance work at the workplace, and it's available on our webpage. You can read it online or download, and this is absolutely free. So yeah, I think that's it. And for our next session, that will be on the 13th of August. We have Helen Wanjiku. She will be presenting on gender safety. So the link and for the session will be shared with you. Register and join for this the next session on the 13th of August. And thank you guys for those who participated and those who contributed in this session. We appreciate your efforts and those who joined. I can say for now, goodbye. And,
before we go, Teach,
yes.
maybe it is a good idea that we create WhatsApp groups and keep communicating. So those who are interested can leave their numbers in the chat so that we can add them to the groups.
Yeah,
plus don't forget our group picture, please. We are living in stressful COVID times.
Yeah, I was actually about to move on to that. Okay, there's a WhatsApp group for ESH.africa. Like Ranga said, you can drop in your numbers, then we can add you, and the link will be also shared for others who might want to join, and it will be also available on all our social media platforms so that you can join and discuss further issues to do with environmental health and safety. Thank you. So like Ranga said, because of COVID-19, we are not able to meet physically, hence this webinar session, but that cannot stop us from taking photos. So I'd like to take this moment to say let us turn on our video cameras so that we can take a group photo.
Oh my God.
Let's say cheese. Others are not.
Cheese.
Cheese. Okay. Thank you. So giving this moment for us just 5 minutes to mingle and just mingle amongst ourselves before we close the session. Thank you for joining. Have a great day, everyone, and see you next time.
Okay, Tish and everyone. Cheers. Bye.
Cheers.